How are you guys doing? Today is Tuesday, January 26th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to walk you through yesterday's matchups from Monday, January 25th, and of course, I'm going to preview everything going on today as we go through the world of sports one day at a time. I'm going to start in the NBA because, of course, that's where I'm going to pick up my action, starting off with the mainstream games that were on television, jumping to Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Nets hosted the reigning Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat, and they were able to beat them 95-87 after outscoring the Heat by 14 in the fourth quarter after going into that quarter up by one, or going into that quarter down by one to come back and get a very big win at home. For the Miami Heat, their starting point guard Goran Dragic would finish with 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in 33 minutes, shooting 7 for 13 from the field and 6 for 9 from 3. And their elite starting center, Bam Adebayo, would be the Miami Heat's leading scorer as he finished with 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in 35 minutes, as he shot 10 for 19 from the field. He made his only three-point attempt of the night, and he was 5 for 6 from the free throw line. For the Brooklyn Nets, their elite starting point guard out of Duke, Kyrie Irving, of course, go Duke. He would finish with 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists in 40 minutes as he shot 6 for 17 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the line. Their elite starting shooting guard, James Harden, would finish with the team high. He would finish tied with the team high for 20 points, as he also had 4 rebounds and 8 assists in 34 minutes as he shot 7 for 10 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and 3 for 5 from the line. And then tied with him for the team lead in points was their goated power forward Kevin Durant, who would finish the game with 20 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, and a couple of blocks in 38 minutes as he shot 6 for 21 from the field, 3 for 12 from 3, and 5 for 6 from the line. With this win, the Brooklyn Nets are currently 11-8, which is the 5th best record in the East as it stands. And with this loss, the Miami Heat are 6-10, which is the 3rd worst record in the East, or the 13th best, if you're really quick with the math like that. Jumping out to Oakland, the Golden State Warriors were able to host the Minnesota Timberwolves and get a big win at home, winning 130-108 after virtually dominating the Timberwolves just throughout the entire game. They were able to get to an 11-point lead at the end of the first, and they were, of course, able to bust it open in the end of the fourth. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, their leading scorer was their starting shooting guard, Malik Beasley, out of Florida State, who finished with 30 points and 7 rebounds in 30 minutes as he shot 10 for 18 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, and a perfect 6 for 6 from the free throw line. For the Golden State Warriors, their starting small forward, Andrew Wiggins, would finish with 23 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, and 3 blocks in 30 minutes as he shot 10 for 19 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the line. And the Golden State Warriors' leading scorer would be their goated point guard, Stephen Curry, who finished with 36 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals in 34 minutes as he shot 11 for 21 from the field, 7 for 12 from the three-point line, and 7 for 8 from the free throw line. With this win, Golden State is now 9-8 on the season, and looking out west, that is currently good enough to tie them with the San Antonio Spurs for the 8th best record. And with this loss, the Minnesota Timberwolves are now 4-12, which is currently the worst record in the West, as they currently hold the most they currently hold the most losses in the West and the second most in the NBA to the Detroit Pistons. Continuing on with the games that weren't on mainstream, speaking of the Detroit Pistons, they were able to pick up a big win at home against the Philadelphia 76ers, beating them 119-104 after jumping out to an 11-point lead in the first quarter and running with it through the end of the game. For the Philadelphia 76ers, their leading scorer was their starting power forward, Tobias Harris. He finished with 25 points and 7 rebounds in 30 minutes, shooting 10 for 19 from the field, 3 for 6 from the three-point line, and 2 for 4 from the free throw line. And then their elite point guard, Ben Simmons, would finish with 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, as well as 2 steals in 21 minutes, as he shot 5 for 9 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, and then 1 for 3 from the free throw line. For the Detroit Pistons, their starting shooting guard, Wayne Ellington, would finish with 20 points and 33 minutes, shooting 7 for 10 from the field and 6 for 9 from 3. Their starting small forward, Jeremy Grant, would finish with 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists in 32 minutes, shooting 6 for 13 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 10 for 10 from the line. The Pistons' leading scorer will be their starting shooting guard, DeLon Wright, who would finish with 28 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, and a couple of steals in 36 minutes, shooting 8 for 12 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, and 8 for 9 from the free throw line. And then also for the Pistons, their elite starting power forward, Blake Griffin, would finish with 7 points, 4 rebounds, and a couple of assists in 28 minutes as he shot 2 for 8 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and 2 for 5 from the line. With this win, the Detroit Pistons are now 4-13, which is still the worst record in the East as it stands. They have the most losses in the NBA, but they were able to get a big win here. And with this loss, the 76ers are 12-6. They still hold the best record in the East by a full game over the Celtics and the Bucks. Jumping out to Indianapolis, the Indiana Pacers hosted the Toronto Raptors and were able to beat them 129-114. Especially following a fourth quarter where the Pacers outscored the Raptors by 14. In this game for the Toronto Raptors, their starting shooting guard Norman Powell would finish with 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in 40 minutes as he shot 8 for 19 from the field and a perfect 6 for 6 from the line. The Toronto Raptors' leading scorer would be their starting shooting guard out of Wichita State, Fred VanVleet, who finished with 25 points and 6 assists in 35 minutes, shooting 11 for 21 from the field and 3 for 5 from 3. And then also for the Toronto Raptors, their elite starting point guard Kyle Lowry would finish with 12 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist in 33 minutes, shooting 2 for 11 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and a perfect 7 for 7 from the free throw line. For the Indiana Pacers off the bench, their shooting guard Jeremy Lamb would finish with 22 points and 7 rebounds in 33 minutes as he shot 7 for 12 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and 5 for 5 from the free throw line. And to finish off the 5, he also had 5 fouls. Out of the starters, their starting center, Miles Turner, would finish with 21 points and 10 rebounds in 33 minutes, shooting 5 for 9 from the field and 11 for 16 from the free throw line. And then the Indiana Pacers' leading scorer will be their starting point guard, Malcolm Brogdon, who finished with 36 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists in 37 minutes, shooting 10 for 17 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and 13 for 14 from the free throw line. With this win, the Indiana Pacers are 10-7, which is the 4th best record in the East. And with this loss, the Toronto Raptors, or currently the Tampa Bay Raptors, are 7-10, which ties them with the Bulls and the Hornets with the 4th worst record in the East as it currently stands. Or if you're looking at it from the top down, they're all tied for the 10th best record in the East. Jumping out to Orlando, the Orlando Magic took on their division rivals, the Charlotte Hornets. They were able to beat them 117-108 after outscoring Charlotte in the middle 2 quarters by 22. For the Charlotte Hornets, off the bench, their elite point guard LaMelo Ball would finish with 9 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists, as well as 2 blocks in 21 minutes, shooting 4 for 10 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3, and 1 for 3 from the free throw line. Their starting point guard, Devontae Graham, would finish with 21 points and 5 rebounds in 36 minutes, shooting 6 for 15 from the field and 5 for 6 from the line. Then there was a co-lead for they had 2 co-scoring leaders as their starting shooting guard Terry Rozier would finish with 24 points in 35 minutes, shooting 10 for 18 from the field and 4 for 6 from 3. And also their starting small forward Gordon Hayward would finish with 24 points and 5 rebounds, as well as 3 steals in 38 minutes, shooting 9 for 16 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the line. For the Orlando Magic, their rookie starting point guard, Cole Anthony out of UNC, would finish with 21 points and 5 rebounds. Boo UNC. He shot 8 for 12 from the field, 4 for 5 from 3 in those 31 minutes as he played incredibly well. And the leading scorer for the Orlando Magic will be their starting center, Nikola Vucevic, who finished with 28 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists in 36 minutes, shooting 11 for 23 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the line. With this win, the Orlando Magic are 8-10, which is tied with the New York Knicks for the 8th best record in the East. And with this loss, the Charlotte Hornets are 7-10, tied with the Raptors and the Bulls for the 10th best, and at the same time, the 4th worst record in the Eastern Conference. Jumping to Cleveland, the Cleveland Cavaliers hosted the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers, and the Lakers were able to beat the Cavaliers 115-108, outscoring the Cavaliers by 9 in the final quarter to come back and beat them, especially with LeBron James winning in his hometown and playing against the team that drafted him and the team that he won a championship for, quite possibly the greatest championship in NBA history. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, their starting small forward, Cedi Osman, would finish with 20 points and 3 steals in 32 minutes, shooting 6 for 11 from the field and 5 for 8 from 3 and 3 for 4 from the free throw line. The Cleveland Cavaliers leading scorer would be their starting center, Andre Drummond, who finished with 25 points and 17 rebounds in 28 minutes, shooting 11 for 21 from the field and 3 for 3 from the line. For the defending champions Los Angeles Lakers, their elite starting power forward Anthony Davis would finish with 17 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks in 36 minutes as he shot 5 for 16 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, and 7 for 9 from the free throw line. And their goated small forward LeBron James would finish with 46 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in 38 minutes as he shot 19 for 26 from the field, 7 for 11 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the line. With this win, the Los Angeles Lakers are 14-4, which sits them at the very top of the Western Conference by half a game over the Los Angeles Clippers as it stands. And with this loss, the Cleveland Cavaliers are currently sitting at 8-9 with the 7th best record in the NBA or in the Eastern Conference. Jumping out to Dallas, the Dallas Mavericks hosted the Denver Nuggets, and in this one, the Nuggets were able to beat the Mavericks 117-113, outscoring the Mavericks by 6 after coming into the quarter down 2. For the Dallas Mavericks, in this particular matchup, their leading scorer was their elite point guard, Luka Doncic, who finished with 35 points, 11 rebounds, 16 assists, and 4 steals in 39 minutes, as he shot 11 for 23 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and a perfect 10 for 10 from the line. For the Denver Nuggets, off the bench, their small forward, Michael Porter Jr., would finish with 30 points and 8 rebounds, as well as 2 steals in 28 minutes, shooting 10 for 18 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3, and 4 for 5 from the free throw line, as he led the team in points. And in addition to him, their elite starting point guard, Jamal Murray, would finish with 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists in 25 minutes, as he shot 7 for 11 from the field and 2 for 4 from 3. And then Nikola Jokic, their elite center, would lead the starters in scoring as he had 20 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. He had 4 assists and 2 steals, as well as 6 turnovers in 34 minutes as he shot 8 for 13 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, and 4 for 4 from the line. With this win, the Denver Nuggets are currently sitting at 10-7, which is the 5th best record in the West as it stands. And with this loss, the Dallas Mavericks are 8-9, which has them sitting with the 10th best or the 6th worst record in the Western Conference. In Chicago, the Chicago Bulls hosted the Boston Celtics, and in this one, the Boston Celtics were able to beat the Celtics, or the Celtics were able to beat the Bulls 119-103 after outscoring the Bulls in every single quarter of the game. For the Chicago Bulls, their leading scorer will be their starting shooting guard, Zach LaVine, out of UCLA, who finished with 30 points and 6 rebounds, as well as 2 blocks in 34 minutes, shooting 11 for 19 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the line. For the Boston Celtics, their starting shooting guard, Jaylen Brown, would lead the team in scoring as he had 26 points and 5 rebounds in 30 minutes, shooting 10 for 21 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3. And then the Boston Celtics leading scorer would be their elite small forward, Jason Tatum, out of Duke. Go Duke. He finished with 24 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists in 31 minutes as he shot 10 for 21 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the free throw line. With this win, the Boston Celtics are currently 10-6, which is tied with the Milwaukee Bucks with the 2nd best record in the East. And with this loss, the Chicago Bulls are tied with the Raptors and the Hornets for the 10th best or the 4th worst record in the Eastern Conference. In Portland, the Trailblazers hosted the Oklahoma City Thunder, and in this matchup, the Thunder were able to beat the Trailblazers 125-122 after a really back and forth game, but Oklahoma was able to get the momentum from the game-winning tip, outscoring the Blazers by 10 in the first quarter, which was enough to get them the win. For the Portland Trailblazers in this matchup, off the bench, their shooting guard Anthony Simmons would finish with 26 points in 29 minutes as he shot 10 for 17 from the field and 6 for 10 from 3. Their future Hall of Fame power forward Carmelo Anthony would finish with 22 points and 6 rebounds in 35 minutes, shooting 9 for 21 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the free throw line. Their starting shooting guard Gary Trent Jr. out of Duke, my class at Duke, go Duke, would finish with 22 points in 41 minutes, shooting 9 for 17 from the field and 4 for 9 from 3. And the leading scorer for the Portland Trailblazers would be their elite point guard Damian Lillard, shocker, as he finished with 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists in 39 minutes, shooting 8 for 22 from the field, 3 for 12 from 3, and 7 for 8 from the free throw line. And then for the Oklahoma City Thunder in this matchup, off the bench, their center Mike Muscala would finish with 23 points in 21 minutes, shooting 8 for 12 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the line. And the Oklahoma City Thunder leading scorer will be their starting shooting guard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander out of Kentucky. He finished with 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists, as well as 2 blocks, as he finished with 32 points, shooting 8 for 12 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, and 5 for 10 from the free throw line. With this win, the Oklahoma City Thunder are sitting at 7-9, which currently sits at the 11th best record in the West, or the 5th worst record, depending on how you look at it. With this loss, the Portland Trailblazers are currently 9-7, which has them sitting in the 5th spot in the NBA or in the West right now. And that's what the NBA is looking like now. The Sacramento Memphis game and the San Antonio New Orleans games were postponed, of course, due to COVID. But looking forward to what's going on today, because there's a good amount of Tuesday basketball on NBA TV. The Atlanta Hawks are going to host the Clippers. At 8 o'clock, the Houston Rockets are going to host the Washington Wizards, as we see these two teams for the first time after the Russell Westbrook-John Wall trade. So that's going to be very interesting to see how these teams are looking right after, as neither of these teams are in the playoffs. But it's going to be a very interesting just matchup, narrative-wise, and it's going to be a good game with those matchups. And then last but not least, at 9 o'clock, the Utah Jazz are going to host the New York Knicks for just to try to go for their 13th win of the season to make a run for the Lakers and the Clippers. Looking out into college basketball, into what was going on yesterday. 8th ranked UVA hosted unranked Syracuse and was able to beat them 81-58 after outscoring them by 9 in the first and then 14 points in the second half. Jay Huff would leave UVA in scoring, as he had 21 points along with 12 rebounds. With this win, UVA is 11-2 and 7-0 in the ACC, and with this loss, Syracuse is 9-5 as they drop to 3-4 in the ACC. Also, 11th ranked West Virginia hosted 10th ranked Texas Tech and was able to beat Texas Tech 88-87. As it came down to the very end, Mac McClung would miss the game winner, but it was a game that went all the way down to the end. Miles McBride would lead West Virginia with 24.7 rebounds and 6 assists. On the other side, Mac McClung finished with 30 points, and he had an amazing performance in this outing. He just couldn't hit the last shot. With this win, West Virginia is 11-4. They are 4-3 in the Big 12, and with this loss, Texas Tech is 11-5, and they are now 4-4 in the Big 12. Looking forward to what's going on today, starting at 7 o'clock on the number 5th ranked Texas is going to host 24th ranked Oklahoma on ESPN2. 9th ranked Alabama is going to host Kentucky on ESPN, and then 18th ranked Tennessee is going to host Mississippi State on SEC Network. Kentucky Alabama is a very interesting matchup this year because one of these two teams is ranked in the top 10, the other one isn't ranked, and the team in the top 10 for basketball is Alabama, and the team that's not ranked in this in this basketball game is Kentucky. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup. Also, and then in addition to Mississippi, Tennessee, at 8:30, 22nd ranked St. Louis is going to host unranked Dayton on CBS Sports Network. And at 9 o'clock, unranked Auburn is going to host 12th ranked Missouri on ESPN2. Jumping out to hockey, because of course the hockey season is getting started, just to check on the ice. The only game that was played was between the Vancouver Canucks and the Ottawa Senators. In this matchup, the Vancouver Canucks were able to beat the Senators 7-1. Sutter would lead the way for Vancouver as he finished with 3 goals on the night. With this win, the Canucks are 3-5. With this loss, the Senators are 1-4-1. Much needed win. Looking out to today's hockey matchups, looking out to the mainstream ones. At 7 o'clock, the 3-0-3 Washington Capitals are going to host the 3-2-0 and New York Islanders on NBC Sports Network. And then on ESPN Plus at 9 o'clock, you're going to see Sharks Avalanche, and also you're going to see the St. Louis Blues take on the Las Vegas Golden Knights in Las Vegas. And of course, last but not least, taking you to what's going on with international soccer. Not much yesterday, but I'll walk you right through it. So in the English FA Cup, Tottenham went to face off against the Wycombe Warriors, and in this game, they were able to win 4-1. Their first goal came from their former super legend, Gareth Bale, and a couple goals from Ndombele would just put this game completely out of reach, where they would eventually clinch the next round of the FA Cup. That was the only big game from yesterday, but looking forward to today. There's a good amount of soccer playing because there's no Champions League, so there's a good amount of league matchups on a Tuesday. Starting in the Premier League, Arsenal's going to go to face off against Southampton at 3:15. Right now, Arsenal is sitting at 11th in the table, as Southampton sitting 10th. A win here could see Arsenal quite possibly shoot up a couple spots, even past Chelsea. We never even know. And then also Manchester City is going to face off against West Brom at 3:15. Right now, Manchester City is sitting second in the table, right behind Manchester United with a game in hand. Because they're only 2 points behind, a win here would even them up with Man U in terms of games played, but it would put them ahead of Man U and give them the crown in the Premier League for the very first time, because in Man U's last game, they did draw. Looking at to the Italian Coppa Italia, Inter Milan is going to face off against AC Milan at 2:45, and those are the two top teams in the Serie A. So of course, a lot of fans, especially a lot of Serie A fans, are going to be tuning in for this one, as this one looks to be either a shootout or it'll be a very interesting game no matter how it turns out. And then that's what's going on today. Not much else. Once again, I want to thank you guys for listening to all 21 minutes of this piece. Today is Tuesday, January 26, 2021. I'm James Sims. Once again, this is The Elite. I want to thank you all once again. I hope all is well, and I will catch you tomorrow once all these exhibitions have finished and we can move on to the next day. I can't wait to be there with you. Peace out. I'll catch you tomorrow.